Welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our October 16th, 2024 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including our big headline tonight: will Krypto ruin the Superman movie? We're going to get into that discussion very shortly. We're going to also talk about the Season 4, Episode 3 of Superman and Lois, where we'll be reviewing that episode and talking about all the information that came out of that. If you are watching via Instagram tonight, you are only getting the middle third of the full image, so we encourage you to go to supermanhomepage.com/live to see the full screen, and we will be cutting off our hour video on Instagram at the halfway mark, so you'll be forced to go to the YouTube channel or our website to finish off the second half hour of our show so that you can get the full picture of what's going on. Hopefully you'll be sticking around for that. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Krypto. We're going to be talking about Superman and Lois. We've got so many things to get through tonight's show. I am joined once again. I'm Steve Eunice. I'm joined by Mark Lax, who is on my left, and Michael Bailey was with us, but sadly his internet has just dropped out, so Michael will be back with us shortly. He's usually on my right if you're watching this on a full screen of the show tonight. So without further ado, I want to thank our sponsors, our patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray for buying us this week's coffee. Thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate the financial support you give the Superman homepage. And if you want to join those fine folks and be a sponsor of our show, simply go to supermanhomepage.com. Patreon.com/Superman homepage. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks, or you can go to our YouTube channel and click the join button and join that way. So thank you to everyone who's tuning in live with us tonight. Michael will be joining us back again shortly. But let's get into the main topic of tonight's show. It is Krypto the Superdog. James Gunn has posted this video image. It's a video because the Earth in the background is rotating, but Superman and Krypto are still in the foreground. Obviously, our graphic says that Krypto will ruin the Superman movie. Obviously, I don't think that. Mark, what do you think?
Oh, I don't think so at all.
Yeah,
This will be the first one. I don't know if this would be technically the first Krypto live action, but probably the most faithful to the main books. Because didn't Smallville, didn't he have a dog?
Yeah, he had a dog in Smallville by the name of... what was the name of the dog? It wasn't Krypto.
No, it wasn't Krypto.
It will come to me in a second. Somebody in the comments will give us the name.
Yeah.
Then there was in Superman 3, there was Buster, was what's his name's dog?
Right.
Little Lana's son.
Was it Andy?
Ricky.
Ricky. Sorry, Ricky.
Andy
Something
was
like he.
from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Then there was in the Titans TV series, Krypto was a live action dog in that series.
Right.
So we have seen a
Didn't
live action version, of Krypto in Titans. So not the first live action. Titans was definitely the first live action of Krypto. We have seen Krypto in animated series, obviously from the New Adventures of Superman back in 1966, right through to Krypto, the DC, what is it? DC League of Super Pets, the animated film with
Yes.
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson voicing Krypto in that. So yeah, Shelby was a dog in Smallville that Clark Kent had. So thank you for that, AJ 800. So thank you for that. And also Virginia Keller gave us that name as well. So what Krypto. Now, before everyone freaks out, and Mike, here comes Michael. I'm going to get Michael's opinion. Here he is. He's back with us. Mike, you're back.
Don't know. I'm glad. I have no idea what happened there.
That
was very weird.
Mark and I don't think that Krypto will spoil the Superman movie. We don't think that it will ruin the film. You're a dog person, so I'm imagining you're with us.
Oh, oh, I am 100% thinking that Krypto will not ruin this film. I think if James Gunn has decided to put Krypto in this movie, Krypto has something. Even if he's not in it very long, he's got something that he's going to be doing that's going to be great. So, and the story behind him putting Krypto in the movie was kind of adorable as well.
Yeah, well, let's just quickly touch on that. James Gunn posted the image that I showed, and the one that's right behind me on my green screen tonight. He said Krypto was inspired by our dog Ozu, who we adopted shortly after I started writing Superman. Ozu, who came from a hoarding situation in a backyard with 60 other dogs and never knew human beings, was problematic to say the least. He immediately came in and destroyed our home, our shoes, our furniture. He even ate my laptop. It took a long time before he would even let us touch him. I remember thinking, gosh, how difficult would it be if Ozu had superpowers? And thus Krypto came into the script and changed the shape of the story as Ozu was changing my life. So interesting story behind getting Krypto into the script. Now, before people freak out, Krypto, it has been confirmed by James Gunn, will not be talking, as in it won't be a human voice behind Krypto. People thought it's going to be like the animated shows where Krypto, like in Krypto the Superdog or in DC League of Super Pets, where we would hear Krypto's thoughts. He said, other than barking, if you consider that talking, Krypto will not be having a human voice as such. So you can relax. The movie is not going down that route. It's not going to be that kind of a silly thing where a dog can talk to humans or anything like that. So you can relax on that side of things. I've seen a lot of people commenting about the fact that Krypto, the dog that we're seeing in this image, is not Krypto. It doesn't look like Krypto. Well, it's a white dog. I mean, okay, it looks a bit furrier and shaggier than what we're used to, but, it's like more of a longer-haired dog than a short-haired dog. And he doesn't have a cape. He's got the golden collar, but, you can relax. The dog doesn't need to necessarily have a cape.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that if we're going to reimagine Superman and Superman's costume is very different, Krypto can look different as well. Though, oddly enough, when I showed my wife the picture last night, she said the same thing. She goes, I never really imagined Krypto like that. And I'm just like, but he looks cute. Doesn't matter.
In the comments, super chat, and thank you for the super chat from John Patrick Van Pelt, is saying is going to be a CGI live action character. We obviously mentioned it's not going to be talking, but I imagine it would be a CGI character, that it wouldn't necessarily be a real dog. There might be occasions when it is a real dog that was on set with them, but there may be times when it obviously, just like Superman himself, will need to be CGI, that if he's flying around and things like that they'll have to digitally animate the character.
Yeah, no, I'm just so looking forward to it. Just seeing what they do with it. I'm sure it's going to be adorable.
Yeah, and Mark, any worries about the way Krypto looks in this image?
No, not at all. I mean, obviously, it doesn't look exactly as you would in the comics or even in some of the animated movies. But like you said, he's a white, adorable dog, and yeah, I don't see a problem with that at all. And who knows? Maybe we'll see a cape at some point, but we don't have to. Cape's not, it's not the most important thing with Krypto. But
And I mean, does it really matter what breed of dog Krypto is? I mean, I know people are saying he's usually like a Labrador type of dog, but I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, let's be honest. The reason why Krypto looked like that is that was kind of the perception of the all-American dog in the
Right.
60s.
Okay.
And were probably easier to draw. You're not going to draw a Schnauzer or anything like that. So as things evolve and as we can actually, show things the way they look, I have no problem with the dog looking different from what we've traditionally seen it. And to be fair, are we counting New 52, where he was basically a wolf? I mean, it's just, they've, or are we going to go with that line of figures from several years ago that looked like He-Man figures, where it looked like Battle Cat. I mean, the thing is that Guy Gardner doesn't really look like the traditional Guy Gardner. Uh, I am sure that there are people out there of ill intent will argue about Perry White being played by the actor Perry White is being played by. I think we can let a white dog go through.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so yeah, I'm all in favor for this. I think there are going to be people who are against it if they're of the opinion that the tone of the film needs to be more serious or darker or grittier, because that's what they've become familiar with the Zack Snyder films. And this is not an attack on Snyder fans at all. I'm just saying that there are people who like their Superman in a more serious tone. I am happy that we're getting a more light-hearted, family-orientated film about Superman, because that's what he has mostly been for his 85 years history. He's mostly been an adventure character that is geared towards people of all ages, fans of all ages, not necessarily an 18 plus fandom.
No, Steve, we're all wrong. It's got to be deadly serious and sucked of all joy and fun. And his only purpose is to get created, to die, to get reborn, and then to get taken over by Darkseid. That is all he is there for. And I think we just got to get on this train. Is what I'm saying.
I think the dog's just going to be stuffed. He died when he was a kid, so he stuffed him. So he carries him with him wherever he goes, even when he's
that's sad.
even when he's on looking up in space, looking at Earth, he's just carrying that stuffed dog with him. He's not going to talk, so why not?
That is dark. Nostalgic Podblast saying, yeah, while we have seen a live action version of Krypto before in the Titans TV series, this will be the first live action on the big screen, a version of Krypto. Yeah. So that is a first in that regard. So looking forward to that. All right. So as we know, Superman, the new film, will be scheduled to be released July 11th, 2025. Looking forward to it. This just gives me a lot more excitement for it, seeing that Krypto is going to be part of the film. All right, talking about films that we're going to be seeing on the big screen, I did manage to go see the Superman, the Christopher Reeve Story at the theater on Saturday morning. This past Saturday, I went with my mother and thoroughly enjoyed it. It is a must-see for all Superman fans, whether you're a Christopher Reeve fan or not, or whether you're a Superman fan or not and you're just a Christopher Reeve fan. This is a masterful documentary film. It's touches on so many different elements of his career, both as Superman and not as Superman, his life after before his accident, after his accident. It touches on everything, and it doesn't paint him out to be some kind of martyr or saint. They touch on his flaws, his character issues, as far as, they talk about his relationship with his first partner, Gay Exton, and then they talk about him and the relationship with his father and him not, wanting to be different than his father. But it's really well-rounded, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Take a handkerchief, tissues, whatever you need with you, because you will shed a tear or two or more.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it at some point. We actually went to the theater last night to watch something my wife wanted to go see, and there were plenty of showings. I didn't see if anybody was actually going because it was a Tuesday night at like 10:30, and I don't know if that's peak Christopher Reeve fan time, right, to hit the theaters here in Fayetteville. But I am really looking forward to when it eventually comes to Max, because I'd rather cry at home.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It's a personal thing, but and I don't know how you feel about it, Mark, but there was something about seeing this with other people in the theater, hearing their reactions. Obviously, I'm very well versed in Christopher Reeve's life in many aspects, but obviously people didn't know that Dana Reeve died, within 18 months of his death, and I heard a lot of reactions in the audience when that was kind of revealed to them, and Yeah, I'm really. It's just there's something to be said about seeing a film like this with an audience, but I can totally and I will see it again in the comfort of my own home.
Oh yeah, you know, there's always something in general when you go to a theater and see a movie with a, you know, with a big audience, and then, you know, a different reaction than when you see it at home. A movie like this, it could be either or. You know, it could be everyone together, you know, with the same feelings and the same, you know, seeing the movie at the same time and getting that same, you know, gut reaction,
Mm,
and but also seeing it in a more intimate, you know, at home on TV, you know, by yourself or with, you know, your wife or husband or what have you, and
hmm.
just feeling, you know, really feeling it and really letting it out, you know. So
Yeah, there's definitely both. There's perks for both ways. But the film has
mm,
been nominated for 6 Critics' Choice Awards. The graphic is about to be put up on your screen in a second. There it is there. It has received 6 Critics' Choice Awards. Best documentary, oh, nominations, I should say. Best documentary feature, best director, best editing, best score, best archival documentary, best biographical documentary, and I imagine it will also receive similar nominations for similar categories for the Academy Awards, the Oscars, when that takes place later on. But happy to see it's being nominated for so many different awards, both in the Critics' Choice Awards and I imagine other awards that come along.
Yep. Looking forward to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, so the Critics' Choice Awards will be taking place on Sunday, November 10th, and it will be live streamed on YouTube, X, and Facebook, and it will be from the Edison Ballroom in Manhattan. So you can get more information from the Critics' Choice Association website if you need to. So looking forward to seeing how the film fares on that front. All right, so that is the movie side of things. Let's move into the television side of the world of Superman, where Michael, you posted your review of season 4, episode 3, Always My Hero, on our website. It went up today. I had hinted at the fact that I'd seen this in advance last week, and there was a lot to unpack in this episode. You started your review, Michael, by saying, well, that escalated quickly. And boy, and how did it.
Yeah, and that had a lot to do with the pacing of it. You know, we had two big things happen. Well, three technically. You know, Jonathan. Spoilers, by the way,
Yeah,
going
spoiler
forward.
alert.
So
Exactly.
if you're watching this, yeah,
There it is.
we might want to
Spoiler
get.
alert.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. um, Jonathan now has powers, and I'm not surprised that it happened, and yet I was surprised like the way it happened. Like it happened in, you know, like in this episode. I was thinking maybe it would happen later in the season. Um, and it just brought up all these questions. It's like, was he always going to get powers? Was he going to develop powers earlier, and then him using the K? Did that stunt it coming out, or was there something about the kryptonite in the mines that jump started Jordan, and that's why his powers developed slower? I have no idea if they're going to get into any of this. This is all the stuff that was just running through my head.
Mark, what did you make of it?
no, you know, we all thought when it said, you know, John with powers, and you know, as if like he was going to just take charge of things and not actually get powers. So when they went down into the, I guess, what, cellar or what have you, I had a feeling something was gonna happen, because it just, you know, I mean, obviously Jonathan went off on Jordan, and you know, we were gonna see that, but then all of a sudden, I mean, just bam, you know, he was hearing things and seeing things, and it just, you know, and it just happened. And not to say I was surprised, I
Mm.
just didn't expect it, right then. Um, yeah, why did Jordan get them first? Why did it develop slowly for him, and now Jonathan gets them, all at once? I don't know, and whether or not they're going to investigate that, I don't know. And if they don't, I'm fine with it.
Hmm.
As long as they deal, they deal with it in the proper way. But yeah, I mean, thought it was, yeah, I thought it was kind of exciting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine probably some of the reason behind them giving Jonathan the powers now and in a rush is probably because they've only got 7 episodes left to go.
Yeah.
And so if they, they don't really have time to flesh that out, and it kind of adds a different element to it because Jordan's developed slower, and Jordan was always the twin that was developing slower in every other part of his life. He didn't have the friends that Jonathan did. He wasn't a football star like Jonathan. Things didn't come easily to Jordan. And so when Jordan got the powers, it was like his way of like, hey, yeah, I'm finally, the more I don't know what the progressive son, so things were going in his way for a bit. And now Jonathan's got the powers as well, and Jonathan's just taking to him like a duck to water. He's got everything. It's all happening for him straight away, and he's flying straight away, and he's able to use his heat vision, and everything's just coming to him so easily. But it took a massive stressful moment for those powers to emerge. Now, I hear some people and in the comments tonight in our live show saying they didn't appreciate or didn't really like the drama between the two brothers. And I guess a stressful moment like this, when your father is dead and you think that one of your family members may be partially responsible or was, not, his actions weren't helpful in many ways, then that can add some stress, and people say things that they don't necessarily really mean when they're in moments of stress and anger and grief. And so, they can escalate. And so it kind of felt all right for me. Like I understood the reasoning behind the two brothers going off at each other like they did. Well, Jordan really didn't go off. He was kind of very apologetic and feels really bad about the way things have happened. But I can understand Jonathan blowing up like that. A lot happened in this episode. We've got a few questions from John Patrick Van Pelt. He has come in. How do you think Lois will react now that both Jonathan and Jordan have superpowers? Well, we've already seen a bit of that with Lois's surprise at how quickly Jonathan has been able to adapt to his powers. Has Lois Lane's mother ever met Clark Superman in other Superman TV shows or movie adaptations over the years? Yeah, definitely. Lois and Clark, New Adventures of Superman definitely. TV series. She was definitely alive there. So yes, definitely has met them in other. Has there been any others that you can think of?
No. Obviously in the comics, she did. She was at the wedding.
But Lois and Clark was definitely the one.
Yeah, Lois and Clark, I think, is the only adaptation because on the Smallville, she was out of the picture already. That would be it. Yeah, absolutely.
Terry Hatcher, if I'm correct, in Smallville.
Yes.
In one episode of flashback. So yeah, and then she was already gone when he was Lois came on the scene.
Yeah. Talking about flashbacks, he says when we see Jordan getting his powers for the first time, did we see any original footage of Jordan Elsass as Jonathan Kent? No, I think they kind of skimmed around that. They just kept that out and didn't really focus on that. In the flashback sequence, why was Sam Lane giving his blessing for the marriage? Why didn't we see that before in the pilot episode? Well, I guess they didn't need it for the pilot episode. It wasn't a thing that was required. It was a thing that was required for this story to kind of reflect on that relationship and how that developed. And so that was important for this episode. It wasn't something they needed to show prior to this episode.
No, I think the way they did it in the pilot episode is exactly how they should have done it. We talked all the way back, 50 years ago, or 3. It really depends on how you want to look at it. Uh, COVID changes things, but I think that since we're starting with the kids, we don't want to like devote too much time into like the origin. So doing it in a quick montage like that gives them the opportunity, as they're doing now, to do flashbacks whenever they want to. And I think the great thing about this episode is it focused specifically on Sam back around the time Clark and Lois were getting married. I was very impressed with the scene where he reveals it. It's like, the gold standard there is Christopher Reeve. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue that point, but I think they did a good job of having him kind of physically change a little bit. When he takes the glasses off, and the way Tyler was holding himself, and I love. So my wife and I have a long-standing agreement that the idea of asking for the father's blessing is kind of an old-fashioned, antiquated notion. But Clark grew up in Kansas, so he's going to do it. But it always felt like in this case it was more of a formality. Like he felt he had to do it.
Yeah.
Because he was going to marry her no matter what.
Yeah.
But having the way they framed the flashbacks in this episode, like in the previous episodes of this season, just works so well in the stuff going on in the present. I wasn't on board with 100% with everything they were doing in the present, but all the flashbacks worked just great. And it was great seeing Michelle Scarabelli as Martha Kent again. We haven't seen her in quite some time.
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Geez, I'm just catching up on some of the comments in the live feed.
Yeah, it's fast and furious tonight.
Oh wow, people going off about Krypto in our earlier discussion. Just quickly going back to Krypto quickly. Obviously, they're setting him up to be included in the Supergirl movie because he plays a major role if they're going to go by the Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow comic book story that they're adapting for the Supergirl movie. Interesting if that does follow through. But back to Superman and Lois. John Patrick Van Pelt also asks, what did Doomsday do to kill Sam Lane? Because it happened so fast. Well, Sam died of his was dying of his injuries and needed to inject that serum into himself so that his heart could then be transferred into Superman's body because it would have the powers that it required, that Superman would require. Is there a better way of explaining that?
I think Doomsday broke his neck.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he did. He
It looked like he crushed his head, but he didn't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So he snapped his neck. The way he was holding him, he snapped his neck. He was dying. He injected himself with the serum so that his heart would then be suitable as a stand-in for a heart that Superman had obviously lost. Did you hear the heartbeat at the end?
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah, let me play it for you. Let me play it for you. Where is it? Final scene. Where I got it here somewhere. I do have it. Here we go. Did you hear it at the very end?
No, actually, I didn't.
It was.
I heard like
dum dum, dum dum.
Yeah, and this is my theory on that. It's going to bring him back, but he's not going to have his powers because it's not enough to support him. So it's going to be all about somehow getting him back up to full power. But I think they're going to do the whole he's depowered right after coming back from the dead
Because
to
if you remember, they made a big point in the first 2 episodes that Superman's heartbeat went dum dum dum, dum dum dum.
3.
mhm.
Where now that he's got Sam's heart, it's just dum dum. So he's missing a heartbeat, if you like, which, as you say, will probably indicate that he's missing some of his powers or he's not full capacity. The hole in his chest has been corrected. It's fixed up. That was quick surgery that Kryptonian technology was able to perform on him in that stasis chamber. So he's back.
They got him a new suit. I mean, he's got the symbol on and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like he's coming back. But no, I honestly think they're gonna save him being having his back to full power to the finale. Um, I don't know if it's going to be. I'm not, and when I say that, I don't mean like the last episode of the series. I mean just more towards the end of the season, and it's going to be more about Jordan and Jonathan in this. And then the interesting thing with Jordan is, will so Lex came and visited him and did his little Machiavellian thing of playing him the phone conversation. Reminded me of Superman Batman Generations by John Byrne, where that Luthor was able to twist Clark's son who didn't have powers.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to see Jordan getting turned to the dark side for lack of a better term, for an episode or two, and having to fight it out with Jonathan? Maybe. I mean, or will Sam's death kind of show him that Luthor is not to be trusted?
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I think watching them in that last scene, really, with Sam's funeral or whatever you want to call it, memorial. It seemed that they were kind of on the same page. I mean, it's true. I mean, first he's seems like he might want to believe Lex more, but now he saw that Lex's creation killed his grandfather and his father. I mean, come on. I mean, I really hope there might be some issues between Jonathan and Jordan about who's the favorite and why did mom pick that kind of thing. But I really hope he doesn't start turning towards towards the dark side. I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Super chat from John Patrick Van Pelt asking, where is it? How do you think Clark Kent Superman will handle both of his sons having superpowers? Well, that'll be interesting to see. That's something that'll obviously come down once Superman returns to his family. We'll have to wait and see just how that pans out and whether or not just what the relationship is and what his powers are, what level of powers he has, because he may need them both to fill in for him while he is out of commission or depowered or whatever the situation might be. We'll wait and see. It's going to be very interesting. John also asked in a question about how did Lara in the AI in the Fortress know about John Henry Irons. Well, I'm guessing he's been there before in past episodes. I mean, she's an AI. She probably knows a lot more than we know.
Yeah, Superman probably told her, she gets cable. I mean, she's got a satellite dish out there. It doesn't work when it rains, but otherwise, she gets to see everything. My other prediction for later in the season and for the end of the series is I think they're gonna have Clark and all of them reveal their identities to the world. Whether Lex pushes that or they just decide to is up in the air.
Well, some of the Smallville people have already globbed onto the fact, that man who saw Lois and the son's reactions to Superman dead in the street kind of gathered as much. So I think it's probably a foregone conclusion at this point in time.
I honestly, I thought about that, and I was just like, the people of Smallville would keep it a secret.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
probably would.
I am
Yeah.
convinced that whoever the neighbors are to the Kent know, the neighbors to the Kents know, especially after Jonathan flying all around the house. Good way to keep a low profile there, kid. But I mean, look in the Man of Steel and in BVS. I
Mhm.
mean, it seemed to me that everyone there kind of knew. I mean, Pete Ross saw his childhood friend, quote unquote, get thrown into the IHOP. So it's just, but that was
And
never really concerned about the
no.
secret identity.
And then Lois is running around calling him Clark to everybody.
Yeah, like constantly.
One final
Gee, I
thing.
wonder who he is.
One final thing about Superman and Lois. We did get a promo trailer, but we still don't have an episode title for the upcoming 4th episode. I don't know why they're keeping this under wraps unless it's very spoilery, but we don't have a title for the upcoming 4th episode, which will air this coming Monday night. But here is the promo for the 4th episode of the 4th and final season of Superman and Lois.
Dad died because of me. Grandpa died because of me. I keep letting you down.
This was all Luthor. Everywhere Luthor goes, he leaves a trail of bodies. He's here to kill me. I put him away once, I'm gonna do it again.
So they have it, not much of it's a short one, but that is the promo that has been released for the upcoming 4th episode of season 4. All right, for our Instagram viewers, if you want to continue to watch the show, we encourage you to go over to supermanhomepage.com/live or our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/supermanhomepagevideos. If you want to continue to watch the show, this stream will end in a minute. So we encourage you to head over to supermanhomepage.com/live to continue watching the show. But thank you for being with us on Instagram tonight. All right, we are at the halfway mark of tonight's show, just over. We're going to take a quick break, play some messages, then come back on the flip side to do This Week in History. And we will obviously do the fan favorite segment. Not that that's going to be very long, but we will be back right after these messages, so don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/supermanhomepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's supermanhomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. Supermanhomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. Supermanhomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. Supermanhomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
I'm freezing! Superman!
Uh-oh, sounds like Lisa and Scott are trapped in the icy cave of that frosty-faced villain, Captain Cold. This is a job for Superman.
My fast freeze zapper will freeze Superman forever.
No way, Captain. Here, kids, my new Superman hot cocoa mix is the super tasting way to warm up.
It's really sweet. And chocolatey.
And see, Captain Cold can't take this warm reception. New Superman hot cocoa, the super tasting way to warm up.
All right, we are back on Superman Homepage live, where we are going to get into our fan favorite segment of our show, which will be very quick because we didn't have anybody respond this week, but I have still got something to talk about. So here's our intro. All right, so on our last week's show, we had the question, what is your favorite Brainiac action figure, figurine, or statue? And sadly, nobody responded for this one, even though in the past weeks we've had many responders. But I thought I'd show some of the action figures that I have in my collection of Brainiac. Here is Brainiac from Superman, the animated series, on his little sled thing there. So that's from Superman, the animated series. And this was it Brainiac 13? Was that the green screen's not going to let that work very well.
That's freaky.
Yeah, let me turn off the green screen for a second. There we go. So that's Brainiac.
Yep. Brainiac 13 from Y2K.
Yep. So that's a pretty large one.
He's got shorts for some reason.
Yeah, he has to show off those muscular thighs. So that was...
Apparently.
They're the two action figures that were easy for me to grab. There haven't been that many. I mean, there's been some great, massive statues of Superman fighting Brainiac in recent times, but those were in my collection, so I thought I'd bring those out since we didn't have anybody respond showing their favorites in our collection, this week.
I have a soft spot for the Superpowers one, simply because I had that when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really cool design. I mean, like Lex Luthor, Brainiac has gotten some pretty cool action figures over the years through both DC Direct and through the Mattel lines. One of my favorites, actually, which I wish I would have thought to dig out, is the one from the Alex Ross Justice line. Where he's just in like this long lab coat, basically, and he came with a brain to hold because it was Aquaman's brain.
Yeah.
And the space monkey that was on his shoulder. So he's one of those figures that when I actually have everything out, it's like you can like have like a Brainiac through the ages thing.
Oh, nice.
And more recently, we have the Superpowers where they actually had like the old Super Friends and then the post-crisis version too.
Very cool. There you go. So, we didn't get any responses for that one, but Mark, what is our new fan favorite question for this week?
Our new fan favorite question is, what is your favorite Bizarro statue, figurine, or action figure?
Yeah, so we're jumping to Bizarro this week. There have been plenty of Bizarro statues, figurines, and action figures over the years. So get involved with the fan favorite segment for next week. info@supermanhomepage.com is the email address to send your responses to. We'll show them off when we return to this segment next week. So get involved in the fan favorite segment of our show. But now we're going to jump into Michael's segment, This Week in History.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
This one doesn't have too much to it this week either, but we do go back to 1944 for the first one with Action Comics number 79. I like this cover because it shows off one of the weirdest of Superman's rogues gallery, that is J. Wilbur Wolfingham, who was a con artist that bedeviled Superman later in the 40s when things got less about him, chucking people out of windows and more softening him up a little bit. So he had some golden age appearances. Len Wein brought him back in the Bronze Age for some reason.
Nice.
But yeah, he's kind of a W.C. Fields type character. Jumping all the way to 1974, we have Superman number 283, where basically Superman pre-saw the Leonardo DiCaprio film to become the Wolf of Wall Street. I am assuming that there is less nudity in this comic than there was in that movie. But maybe Matthew McConaughey beats his chest a little bit, trying to get Superman's new identity into the selling mode. World's Finest Comics number 227 also came out in 1974. This is a 100-pager, so it is a hodgepodge type cover where you have Deadman either jumping in or jumping out of Batman, which is weird. And of course, Superman destroying the Statue of Liberty because reasons. Jumping ahead to 1984, we have Infinity Incorporated number 10. It's Jerry Ordway redoing a Golden Age All-Star Comics cover. The Generation Saga was a lot of fun. Superman goes evil because he's dunked into and drowns in the stream of ruthlessness. You think there'd be signs around it, but apparently not. Going to 1994, we have Guardians of Metropolis number 2, continuing this miniseries, spotlighting the Guardian and the Newsboy Legion. You also had Superman number 95, speaking of Brainiac, where we think Brainiac might be behind Dead again. Spoiler warning, he was, but in this issue, you don't think he is. Going to 2004, we have Action Comics number 820 with a cool Silver Banshee cover during the Chuck Austin run with art not by Ivan Rice, but still, I guess they're going for something with this cover. Also, Superman True Brit, The Elseworlds came out, written by Kim Howard Johnson and John Cleese, with art by John Byrne, of what happens if the ship lands in England. This is one of the few comics from this era that I have never read.
Oh, I read this one. I remember reading it, vividly. So, very interesting haircut.
I had it, but I didn't. I didn't read it. I think I looked through it. But
you know what? I need to write a Elseworlds where Superman lands in Australia.
So Lex Luthor can come and take over. Is that the thing? Okay. Going to 2014, we have Batman Superman number 15. Normally we go for the normal cover, but because Halloween is just around the corner, we have the Monsters Month variant cover by John Bogdanov with Superman and Batman as werewolves, which is I just love this one. Nothing like this actually happens in the comic. I just love this cover. Justice League number 35, continuing the zombie storyline with Lex Luthor joining the Justice League. It's actually a really good story. I enjoyed that one. And Supergirl number 35, because we can't let Doomed go. Jason Todd makes everything better. Oh, look, she's got red eyes. That's a shock from that era. In the real world, on October 15th, Vinnie Coletta, longtime inker and artist for both Marvel and DC, was born. I do not have a year on that. And unfortunately, on the same day in 1958, John Hamilton, who portrayed Perry White on the Adventures of Superman television show starring George Reeves, passed away. He wasn't doing too well at the end of the series, from what I've read. He had to have his script kind of in front of him to keep up with his lines. So, very sad. On October 16th, which is today here in the States, Smallville debuted in 2001. I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing that night. So that's 23. Yeah, I don't feel old at all. October 17th is jam-packed with birthdays. First up, we got Margot Kidder, who is sadly no longer with us, but she was born in 1948 on this day. Michael McKean, who played a scientist in Lois and Clark, but more importantly, Perry White on the Smallville series, was born in 1947. And Jerry Siegel, co-creator of Superman, was born on this date in 1914, and that is this week in history.
Wow, 110 years ago, Jerry Siegel was born. If not for him, Superman wouldn't be here, and neither would we be discussing
Literally.
Literally. So we owe a massive debt to Jerry Siegel and obviously as well Joe Shuster, the co-creators of Superman. I've been reading thank you for that, Michael, this week in history. I've been reading a early galley copy of the Ed Gross's The Complete History of Superman, the forthcoming book. Fascinating. We'll be talking to Ed down the track. We'll get him on our show again. and I'm really looking forward to the hard case slipcover version being released later this year. But just reading those early historical notes about the creation of Superman and Jerry and Joe's relationship with Donenfeld and all those kind of all the machinations behind the way Superman came about in those early years of his development is just so fascinating. I remember Ilya Salkind saying that he was putting together a film on the Superman's origin stories from the Siegel and Schuster side of the story, which doesn't seem to have ever come to the light of day. But that would be fascinating to see a story, a dramatization of all that kind of stuff based on what happened.
Yeah, and the easy thing to do would be make Harry Donenfeld and Jack Leibowitz the villains. And to be fair, there was some shenanigans going on. But I think Larry Tye's book from 2013 really did a good job of kind of giving a little nuance to that. So yeah, I was looking through that the other day. I haven't had a chance to actually sit and read it, but I was looking through the early preview edition as well, and it is an impressive book. It's amazing that in a 2-year period, Ed Gross has given us 2 of the most definitive histories of Superman.
Exactly. It's fascinating. And another thing that I got advanced look at was the 4-part documentary series Selling Superman, where we talked, where we've been promoting this on our website for quite a while now, a couple of years, during the making of and the funding of. Selling Superman is a story about a family whose dad, who was undiagnosed, suffering with Asperger's, was a hoarder, collector of comic books, just comic books in general, and it kind of ruined their life. And but now that after he passed away, this family is dealing with what to do with this massive collection that they were never allowed to even see or talk about while their dad was alive, and now they're going through it bit by bit in this documentary film that's kind of documenting the whole thing. And they come across the fact that he's got a Superman #1 from 1939. That's a 7.0 CGC graded edition. There's a Batman #1 in there. There's multiple copies of first editions of, comic books that are rare. It's just a real fascinating look into it. And I'm hoping to get either a family member or the director of the film, the documentary series, as a live guest on our show down the track, because we have been helping this. They gave me the advanced screening of this documentary to have a look at, which I did this past week, and it's definitely something that we'll be covering for fans who are interested in the story behind the stories of these collections.
And just to head something off at the pass, the term Asperger's has fallen out of favor.
Yes, they just use it in this documentary.
In the community. They use it in the documentary. I don't want people jumping down Steve's throat for using it. He is quoting it from the documentary. We are all aware of the fact that Asperger's is now not something that, especially given the origin of that term, which don't look into it. But spoiler warning, Nazis. So just a little bit. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm going to get us all into trouble. I'm trying to get us out of trouble, and I'm going to get us even in deeper trouble. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one too.
Definitely. Also, if you've been on our website this past week, you would have noticed that there were a stack of reveals from like McFarlane Toys for upcoming action figures and things that are coming along. There was a Superman the movie action figure that's been announced. There was a Doomsday and Superman 2-pack from the Batman v Superman series that's also coming later this week. You'll be able to get your pre-orders done. There's a gold label Walmart exclusive Superman action figure. There was a Lex Luthor as Superman Funko Pop vinyl announced this past week, and a Supergirl statue that was also announced that just looks phenomenal. So plenty of great merchandise out there that is available for pre-order this week, and links are up on our websites as they come available.
I'm kind of glad that they're releasing a actual Doomsday figure from Batman v Superman, because I had to do with taking a chunk of plastic and just hitting it with a lighter and getting it all lumpy. That was my BVS Doomsday figure for the longest time. So I'm glad we have an official one now.
Shots were
I'm standing
fired.
by that, because I hated that version of Doomsday. The Superman the movie figure, like, the face is great.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like how they have that chest constructed. That they
Yeah,
have a
that's a
point of
bit.
articulation in, like, the middle of the chest. It looks weird.
I'm trying to
But
bring that
that
up now.
Superman, yeah, it's not, like I said. I'm not insulting this like I'm insulting Doomsday from BVS, which I will do every week if people want to hear that. I just don't like that in the middle there. But that face mold is great.
For an action figure.
Yeah, and I love that we're going for a more cloth cape
Mm-hmm.
in these more recent figures, which is great. That Action Comics Gold Label one has, I think, the nicest Superman face sculpt we have gotten from McFarlane and McFarlane Toys in quite some time. I think that's a very sharp looking figure. Unfortunately, it was not at the Walmart I was at last night. I was looking though.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of fans say, yeah, I'm not seeing them in Walmart on the shelves there, but McFarlane Toys announced that they were available exclusive in a Walmart and not online. You couldn't order it online through Walmart's website either, so it seems to be either delayed getting on shelves or certain stores are just slow putting them in stock.
Or,
So-
the flippers came in early and bought out all the stock so they can jack up the price on eBay. So,
That's possible.
Whatever.
Definitely
Jerks.
possible. There's also a DC Heroes United mobile game that was a trailer was released as a video this week. If you want to check that out, I think it's DCHeroesUnited.com for more details on that. And then there was this resin Supergirl statue that was also is now available for pre-order. It's up on our website if you like this version of the Supergirl statue. Definitely a different look, but that's available for pre-order now through our website as well. So plenty of new merchandise, plenty of news this week, but a chock-a-block show for us to get through tonight. We discussed Krypto, and to recap, all three of us are on board. The graphic was, we don't think that Krypto will ruin the Superman movie. It's a 2 thumbs up for all three of us. So definitely, there you go. Definitely are Krypto fans here for the new movie. We got through the 3rd episode of season 4 of Superman and Lois, and definitely a lot to unpack in upcoming episodes. We have 7 episodes left of this TV series, so looking forward to that. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage Live. We appreciate you joining us over this past hour. Thank you so much for your company. Thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support and your sponsorship of this show. Thank you so much. Folks, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all those things. Make sure you are giving us a thumbs up right now on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are watching this. We appreciate any support we can get, letting people know that you like this show. So please do share this with family and friends and post it on your own socials as a video that other people should watch. But Michael, Mark, and I will be back next week on Monday, October 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. We hope you'll join us then. Wednesday, October 23rd. Wednesday, October 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself, Michael Bailey. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, Steve. Oh, it's over here now. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Mark Lax. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Michael.
We will make sure you check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates. I think I already said that. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of my good co-hosts, my good friends here. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live. Catch you next week. Good night.